Shall I see what we can do with these two flakes? Yes, yes. So let's do the smaller one first. If that one breaks, it's okay. First knappings of the day. If it breaks, it's okay. I'm gonna try to take the curve out of it just to see, or take most of it out. Yeah, just to see what it looks like. Take most of it out and then see if I can actually get an arrowhead out of it. No particular strategy, just do the worst first. This looks like the worst down here. Yeah. See, this side is straighter, so the arrowhead's going to come from this side here. So I can get rid of this curvy area. But I have to try to maximize it. Yeah, even though I'm free to get rid of it, you can't just haphazardly get rid of it. Yeah. Just little by little, and see what I got. I don't have very much. I think it's just the thinness. Yeah, too much force for the thinness. Yeah. Alright, so that's... If you want to know how to knap those, sorry. You have to be more careful and more skillful than I was just then. That's how to knap those. And this one probably won't even work now. Ooh, it might. But I doubt it. That wasn't supposed to snap right there. I'm supposed to snap up higher. Well, I can try to get one out of this. And if it's too small, I just make everything else smaller. Yeah. What about this one? Can I make two now? I might be able to. Ooh, that's close. Interesting. Let's try it and see. Yeah. Interesting. I might be able to get one of this if I'm very careful. I can always make the original flake smaller, or original preform smaller. This is the first one. I can make it smaller so that I can have a set of 5. Yeah. Did they do that back in the day? Well, maybe. You can do that, especially if they're all hafted to foreshafts. If some of your arrowheads are tiny, you can make the foreshaft heavier to, add weight so it matches your other stuff you might have made last month or whatever. This month's arrowheads can be smaller or bigger, and you just adjust the weight of the foreshafts. And yes, you can balance and compare weights with primitive tools. Yeah. The scale is not difficult to make with just a balance setup. A little stick that balances, you just put it, maybe not a little stick, long enough to where it's manageable, and then you just balance, string in between, balance it, and then put one arrowhead on one side and the other on the other side, and see if it balances with the foreshaft, of course. Your last month's arrowhead with foreshaft, put it on one side, and this month's arrowhead with foreshaft on this side, and see if it balances. Yeah. And you make them balance. Even though the arrowheads are different in size, you can make up for it with the foreshafts and make the foreshafts bigger or smaller, depending. Yeah. Okay. In case you're wondering, some people wonder why foreshafts are supposedly so great. It serves two purposes. One, it's usually stronger wood than the main shaft, and especially if it's reed or something like that. And then number two, you can adjust the weights. So it's not just the arrowhead weight that you're using. You're using the foreshaft plus the arrowhead. And there's probably other advantages to having a foreshafted point, like you can remove it from the arrowhead, from the arrow shaft, and stick another type of arrowhead with a foreshaft on the arrow shaft. Yeah. That kind of thing. You can switch them out. You can be hunting deer and then all of a sudden you see a bird. You can switch out the arrowhead and use one that for shooting birds instead of your fancy deer hunting point on the same arrow. Yeah. Switch it out. It expands your opportunities. Yeah. Some might say, nah, I just make a universal arrowhead. I shoot everything with it. Yeah. Yeah, I know. You get fancy schmancy about everything else, but you don't get fancy schmancy about their swapping out arrowheads. Why is that? You want to see parallel flaking and fancy schmancy flaking, but you're not going to be making fancy arrows? Ones that you can interchange the tips? You're selectively fancy schmancy. Yeah. You should not be selectively fancy. Either you're fancy or you're not. Yeah. That's the autistic way. Very, one or the other. Autistic minds are usually very black and white. One or the other. Yes or no? Yeah. So that's why I bring that up. Because it occurs to me, if there's an inconsistency, I see it almost right away. Or something bugs me about it. And I'm thinking, what is it that bugs me? Ah, it's the inconsistency. Oh, that was good. That was good too. Yes, yes. It just should have gone further. It would have been even better. Oh yeah, I was watching autism videos today. Yeah. Why? Because I wanted to find some good references. I found a good channel. It's pretty popular. For good reason. Yeah. I put links to that channel in my latest smoking the pipe and talking about autism video. Yeah, people worry about me smoking pipes. I know, I don't smoke the pipe every day. It's just one of those things that's, it's kind of like stimming. It allows me to relax. Flintknapping used to be that way for me, but now that it's my business as well as my hobby, it doesn't have the same calming effect. The flintknapping does not have the same calming effect, but it's okay. I got other things that help me to calm down. Yeah. Decompress. It should be more, I should say decompress instead of calm down. I'm usually pretty chill, so it's not that. It's the decompression, because it feels like the tension builds up, and I don't want to express it, so it doesn't get expressed, and then it's like pent up frustration or pent up anxiety, and it dissipates either through action or meditation. I can do something like take a long walk, and it will dissipate through action, or I can sit and take a long break, just sitting Yeah, not scrolling through the internet, just sitting. Maybe watching some animals. Something like that. Or doing a very mindless little task, like I got to clip off a bunch of raspberry leaves from the stems that they've dried on. I've dried a bunch of raspberry leaves on the stems. So I got to clip them all off. So I can do something like that, and that causes me to decompress. Yeah. It's not as good as taking a nap, but taking a nap, sometimes it makes me feel worse afterwards. Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know exactly why. I have an idea why, because sometimes you wake up right in the middle of your REM sleep or something, or you don't get a full cycle. Naps either too short or too long. All right, I got to get that out of there, but it's got cortex. How much room do I have on the sides? I don't have much room at all, but I got to take the risk. Grind this down so I can attack that obstacle better. Yeah. Oh, it's very close. I'm probably going to have to reduce the size of this anyway. Yep. It's almost there. I mean, I should take more off of this side, but I'm going to take a chance and hit it anyway. It's not quite up against that lump, but yeah, if I take too long, it's just, I don't know. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. I'll just live with what I get. It only takes a little bit of time to get it up to 90% good. It's that extra 10% that could take seemingly 10 times the amount of time. It's that last 10% that eats up all the time. That last 10% of making it perfect to hit, that eats up all the time. Yeah. See, I can live with what I got. I got a little bit of crunchiness on the first strike, but the second strike was good. And I didn't have to spend a lot of time perfectifying the edge. Yeah. I can live with that. How do I know I can live with it? It's experience. I would not have known that I could live with it as a beginner. Because as a beginner, it's hard to know your skill at damage control. You have some skill at damage control as a beginner, but you don't know exactly. Damage control gets better with time. Yeah. And you know, I become a little bit too dependent on my ability to damage control when I paint myself into corners sometimes. Yeah. It's not good to paint yourself into a corner because you're too dependent on the damage control ability. Dang. This not getting enough water is a real hassle. Hold on. If I don't drink enough water, I get this real thick mucus right in my voice box. Alrighty. Oh yeah, I was looking at an autism channel, and as children, when you have autism, you don't know what's going on, but you know that you're weird, yeah, and you get picked on sometimes because of your social awkwardness. What kind of social awkwardness could get you picked on? Well, for me, one of the things was the uncontrollable facial expressions. I would sit there in class and someone once in a while would tell me, "Why are you angry?" And I would say, "I'm not angry." I said, "Look, you got an angry face, or something's upsetting you. What's the matter?" "Nothing." But yeah, sometimes they would catch me with a face like I've got too much sun in my eyes, or I'm upset. And I noticed that, yeah, you're right. I don't know what causes that. And then people would pick on me for being weird. Just a little off. Because you're not only off with your facial expressions, but you're off in conversations and what you respond to or respond with as far as answers. It's hard to explain. One of the hardest things I've had to think about was how the autism actually affects me. I don't really know exactly. I've got to really, really think about it. And relive some experiences that I don't want to relive. Yeah. When I used to get picked on and pushed around, but after a while the bullies got bored because I wouldn't do anything. They're really looking for a reaction, and when you don't react the way they are thinking you to react, they get bored or they move on to someone who reacts worse or with more panic or fear. Yeah. Anyways, it really does shape your brain if you get picked on. You find ways to deal with it. And hopefully you don't become violent. Although I got into several fights. And it was very tense for a while. But after a while, after you get into high school, there's not as much. It's the grade school. At least for me, the grade school was the most intense bullying. Does that mean I'm vengeful now? I'll get everybody, get them back for what they did. No. I watched the bullies when they were in high school. I saw one of the guys that used to bully me. He joined a band. He completely grew out his hair. He was a fat little kid. Pardon me for saying fat, but he was a fat little kid. He used to pick on me. And in high school, I hadn't seen him for like 2 or 3 years. So almost graduating high school, I saw him again, and he was skinny, long hair. He was in a band, and he didn't even recognize me. I waved to him a couple times, and then he didn't even He either ignored me or didn't know who I was. He forgot all about it. That was a weird experience. Yeah, how people can change completely. He was probably a stoner too, because he was hanging around with stoners. Yeah. Anyway, totally different from what he used to be like. All right, so there you go. So it was easy to put aside those episodes. It wasn't the same person. All right, so I got this. I got an arrowhead out of that one. Yeah. Okay. I got to reduce these down and then reduce this one. Let's do this fat one here. Let's see. Do I do this on this video? I'll break it up. I got to go inside. I can't... right now, with the stage of care that my dad needs, I can't stay out here for too long. Well, see, I got a little monitor. I watch him. I think he's doing okay. So hold on. I'll work on this for like 10 minutes. It's almost 30 minutes. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I think I can manage this one. But I got to be very careful with this one too. Yeah. Where am I going to put the tip? Put the tip in a spot where I know I can thin it down really well. See, this has a crack, so I don't know how deep that goes. That could be a bad problem, so I don't want to put the tip there. I could put the tip here. Yeah, we'll just do that. I'm going to need some really hard hits to shape this piece. Let's get this all ground down, get all the pits out of it, and all the remnants, stone remnants and little pieces of debris. Let's set this up. This is a nice piece of chert. It should nap well. Oh yes. I had to be careful because if it naps too well, I can remove too much. And yes, it's a thing. It can nap too well, and it naps better than you would expect, and then you lose way too much off of it. You know what? That's not a bad... Well, maybe it is a bad crack. We'll see. I'm taking a chance. Should I put the tip on that side? If I do, I'm taking a big chance. Either way, it's a big chance. But if I do it this way, I can take some of this off down here and use that edge to remove that turtle back. You'll see what I mean. Yeah, let's do that. Come on. Okay. It did flake off, I just didn't feel it. All right. See, I took some off of there. I just got to make sure I know where I'm at. Yeah, I got to be very careful. There's no room. One. Let's see, can we do it in 3? That was 1. 2. 3. Nope, not in 3 because it's all broken up right there. Could do it in 4. That's pushing it. Let's see. Can I take that off with one more strike? I messed myself up. Let's see, one more strike somewhere. No. Unless I get lucky. Let's see. Let's see. 4. Haha. Yep, almost got to the center of that Tootsie Pop with 4 strikes. All right, let's continue. Ooh, I thought that was gonna go, but it didn't. It didn't. Ouch. One thing about some autistic people is that they end up playing instruments. Yeah. I never got into playing any instruments, although I do like, you know, the idea. I've always wanted to, and I picked it up for short periods of time. Picked up these little instruments once in a while. I've got 2 guitars. I don't know, I just never had the interest to sit down for the amount of time it takes with the instrument. Mainly because of the noise it makes. It bugs people. Yeah. So, never got into it. All right. Let's see if I can focus. Oh, that's not good. There's a little crack right there. Let's see. Yeah, I've got no room at all. So I could take a little bit off of there, a lot off of this. So, yeah. It's not too bad. Yeah, I've tackled worse than this, but it's close to being a little bit too tight. Tight fit. Ah, it's so nice. I can hammer stone it with the Abrader. Yep. That's how good the rock is. Good quality stuff can be hammer stoned with the Abrader. Yeah. You didn't know, huh? It breaks up the Abrader a lot when you do that, though. It puts undue wear and tear, and I'm losing it. See that? It's getting too small too fast. I've been doing too many tough rocks. Oh, yes. This is raw chert. It's tough. It flakes well, but it still eats the Abrader for lunch. Just because it flakes well doesn't mean it is easy on the Abrader, because it's not. Okay. This side I can lose, right? Yeah. I can lose stuff off of this side. so I can use it to run flakes. Because whenever you run flakes, you lose parts of the edge. So you run flakes off the edge that you can lose, and you preserve the edge that you can't lose. The longer edge is usually the one you preserve, because it's longer. Trying to maximize it. Let's get rid of some of this stuff on the good edge first, just to make sure we got the whole edge, because you never know what can happen. Yeah. So make sure I got the long edge intact. Yeah. All right. And now I can, with confidence, start to remove some of the other edge. Let's see. I need to make this edge look a little bit better. Come on. There we go. There's too much of a lump right there. Is that good? How many licks is it going to take to get to that Tootsie Pop center? Because I got to remove that big old lump here on this triangular shaped almond. Yeah. It still reminds me of an almond shape because it's rather thick. Ooh, that had already some incipients. That first strike did something and I didn't see. I gotta be careful to make sure that I notice exactly what's happening. That is good. But it was blurry, wasn't it? Ah, yes. Oh, yep. Come on. Is that... Are we getting there? Are we almost there yet? We're almost there yet. I have to be careful and not to get too confident because I could break the whole thing. Ouch, that's too much. And I don't want to take off too much of the edge. It's very, very wonky, but I like it that way because it gives me opportunities. In some ways, it's good to have a really wonky edge, and in other ways, it's not. If it's too wonky and the little dips are in bad places, you know, these little dips in the edge, or if they're in bad places, you can't really take advantage of the low platform or low striking area. But in this case, they're in good spots, so I can take advantage of their lowness, like that. Ha! Yeah. But I gotta move that edge more that way. In this particular spot. Yes. Yeah. It's a little bit crunchy at the tip, but that's typical of what I do. And it usually ends up being crunchy at the tip. But I've damage controlled that so many times that it's not a big deal. And I just peeled off some of the cortex by abrading because I'm hammer stoning it slightly. So I took a flake off the tip again. Whenever I do that, though, I take a risk on taking too much off the tip. And yeah, I did take too much off the tip. Dang it. See that? But it's okay. The smallest preform determines the size of the set. So this looks like it's going to be the smallest preform. Yeah, it's not as long as this last one. Imagine that. This one started out longer and it's not as long as the last one. Very interesting. It's not supposed to do that. I think I have too much rock embedded in that larger. Yeah, it's too pitted and too embedded. I lost energy and it didn't make it. See, it just kind of cracked, stepped near the edge. That means loss of energy. It should have gone right through there and taken that whole thing off. But now I got to damage control it from another spot. Let's see. Yes. There it is. What was that, 3 hits to get to the center of that one? Oh yeah, there you go. Thank you, good stone. Not like that. Not like that. Yeah, if the edge is just too thin, it's not going to support the flake I want. It's a pity that it's not long enough. I'm going to have to remove some length. Oh well, let's finish out this one. We're only at 36 minutes, 37 minutes. It's good. I can finish this little preform and then cut the video and complete it on the next segment, or do some more videos in this series. I'm going to make a set of arrowheads, okay? In case you're just tuning in or you fast forwarded to the end. I'll make a little set with the so-called debitage flakes from the Easy Peasy video. Yeah. Did they do it like this back in the day? I don't know for sure. I mean, I would have. You don't want to waste the flakes. You don't want to waste the waste flakes. No. Only flakes waste the waste flakes. Yeah. If you waste the waste flakes, you're a flake. Yeah. All right. Oh. That one almost stepped badly. Oh, it scared me for a second there. I can deal with these little step fractures near the edge, especially if I have a lot of width, but to step in the middle really badly is not a good thing. But it didn't step really badly in the middle. Nope. It's manageable. I'm not worried about it at all. I am worried about this tip. This tip is toast if I make one slip. I can't slip on this tip. It'll be toast. Ah, there we go. Yeah, good enough. Thank you, good stone. All right. That's good enough. Yeah, I can call that a preform. Let me get some of this rocks out of here. Chips. All right. So we got our little bifaces and preforms for a set of 5. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, this one is the shortest one, right? So this is going to remain my pattern, but I'm going to shorten it to fit this one here. So I think what I'll do is I'll start with, well, I gotta adjust for this one as well. This one is narrower than this, and this one's shorter than this. So I'm going to work on these 3 to get them all the same size, and these will easily be able to be reduced to those dimensions. So I'm going to make this shorter and more narrow, and I should be able to get 3 identical points out of this set here, and then I'll work on these 2 to match these 3. This all came from the same nodule, remember. See how the colors look a little different? It does look like little, has differences in the stone. Almost looks like different types of stone, but they came from the same nodule. Okay, so keep that in mind when you look at artifacts. Sometimes it looks like they're made of different stones, but it's the same nodule. Just different areas of that nodule. Okay? Yeah. I like it. Alrighty. There you go.